One person is dead after a fire at 4:30 this morning in Plainfield. I'm Samantha Myers. Coming up, I will have the latest from the scene.
This defendant was, he was laughing and very lighthearted at the beginning, and when the verdict came back, he was in tears.
And that person seen here will spend the rest of his life in jail for the death of a toddler. The concerns now Madison County's prosecutor still has for the community.
Plus, look out for traffic closures on I-65 on the northwest side of Indianapolis. The reason INDOT says they're closing all the northbound lanes for a short distance and ways for you to get around them for the rest of the month. Fox 59 Morning News starts now.
From Indiana's #1 news source, this is Fox 59 Morning News.
And it is 8 o'clock on your Saturday morning. What you're seeing there on the lens, a little bit of rain, is what we're going to see for a lot of the day today, unfortunately, but you want to plan for it now. Thanks for starting your Saturday here. I'm Jessica Hayes.
And I'm Zach Myers. David James is tracking that forecast for us, and we're starting the middle of June on a pretty wet note for places, especially to the south.
Yeah, it looks like it could get from beyond soggy into maybe some flash floods.
David, thank you. And back to our breaking news this morning. One person has died after an apartment fire early this morning.
Plainfield Fire Department tells us the call came in around 4:30 this morning. The apartment complex is on North Vine Street, right near Highway 40 and Avon Avenue. Samantha Myers has been at the scene for some time now, gathering information on what we know.
Fire investigators are still here on scene. They're going in and out of the apartments. 3 apartments were affected. You can see 2 of them there have their doors open, and then we're going to pan over, show you that large hole that's in the roof. It took firefighters 15 minutes to put out this fire, but when they made it inside one of the units, they found one person dead. This happened shortly after 4:30 this morning. Again, this is on North Vine Street. Plainfield Fire Chief Joel Thacker tells us the investigators are now working to find out the cause of the fire and if this person died before or during.
We look for area of origin and what might be in that area that might have started the fire and what led to the victim's death.
Thacker says 3 of the units suffered significant fire and smoke damage. The Red Cross is here on scene helping the 3 families that were living in those units. Now we're hoping to learn more about this victim and get their name and age at some point today. We're waiting for investigators to notify family members. So we're going to continue to stay on this story. We will bring you the latest updates when we learn more. For now, reporting live in Plainfield, Samantha Myers, Fox 59 News.
Samantha, thank you. Also developing right now, one man in critical condition after a shooting on the east side of Indianapolis. Officers were called here around 3:30 this morning. According to police, the man was shot on Garden Grace Drive and then taken to a house about a mile away on East Washington Street by 2 friends. Working to find out what led up to this shooting and any information about any suspects. Again, the victim was last listed in critical condition as of our last update. Another person is recovering from a separate shooting on the near northwest side right around 5 this morning. This was near North Tibbs Avenue. Police say that person is conscious and was awake when they arrived. We're working to find out more about this shooting as well, what started it, and any suspect information.
A woman was killed when she was hit by a driver near Ferguson Road and Southeastern Avenue. This happened around 10 o'clock last night. Officers say the driver who hit the woman stayed there at the scene and did talk to officers. We're working to learn more about that victim and to find out if the driver will face any charges.
Also new this morning, this Gibson County man faces felony charges of possessing child pornography. Police say they've been investigating Nathan Stewart of Princeton for 2 months down in southwest Indiana. Officers say they found thousands of images on his electronic devices. Stewart was arrested yesterday and taken to the Gibson County Jail on $12,500 bond.
8:06 now, a Madison County jury found this man guilty of killing his girlfriend's 18-month-old son. It took that jury just 1 hour to make that decision. They determined that Dylan Tate should spend his life behind bars without parole. Now, the child seen here, Harlan Haynes, died in February of last year. He was brought to Riley Hospital with extensive bruising, and he was not breathing. Tate was charged with murder, molestation, neglect, and driving while intoxicated. And just months before that, DCS was called for alleged abuse of Harlan, but nothing came after that phone call.
I'm concerned that in communities like ours that have a tough edge to it in some places, that children just aren't being protected like they should, and those who are in that have that assignment need to keep their eyes open.
Harlan's mother, Jennifer Harris, faces charges of felony neglect. Her trial date has not yet been set. We'll keep you updated on that. Tate's attorney, though, says his client has indicated he will appeal this verdict.
The search for a prisoner who'd been on the run for 2 months is now over. U.S. Marshals say 28-year-old Dallas Jones walked away from the Volunteers of America Residential Reentry Center in Indianapolis back in April. New information led investigators to this home on the far east side of Indianapolis, and that's where Jones was arrested, they say, without incident. Sources say that he may also be connected to a double homicide investigation.
It's kind of scary because I've seen him around, for a couple of days and just nothing out of the ordinary. But he seemed like a nice guy. We spoke, and that was about the end of it.
Detectives are not saying which case they're looking into in connection here. U.S. Marshals say the arrest was a joint effort along with IMPD, Indiana State Police, and the Marion County Sheriff's Department.
Parents are being warned after 2 girls say a woman tried to motion to them while they were outside of a summer camp. The Ursay Family YMCA, which is right downtown at Cityway, is now asking police to have more patrols in that area. The girls say this happened on Wednesday when they were outside for lunch. The girls went to camp leaders who immediately put a safety plan into place. They took all the children inside and called police.
And the parents are doing a good job of telling their kids when something doesn't seem right, to don't run to strangers. I know we've always talked about that over the years, don't approach strangers, don't follow strangers. So I think that message is getting out.
The camp director says they encourage families to talk to campers about emergency situations before they get to camp. They also do have staff coach those campers through some incidents to make sure they're comfortable with those staff members if an emergency does happen.
Fox 59 is your traffic authority, and we've got a big one to tell you about here this weekend. Right now, northbound I-65 is closed on the northwest side, right where it crosses at 465. And here's a live look right now. You can see traffic is light on this Saturday morning. Southbound lanes are open. The closure is for NDOT crews to mill and repave a short stretch of I-65 between 465 and the 865 interchange. It'll be closed until July.
Our crews can get so much more done because it's a full closure. We don't have semis and cars zooming by at 60, 70 miles an hour. So the safety factor is huge for everyone involved.
So after this closure for the northbound lanes, then it will be the southbound lanes' turn. That closure will start July 12th and go until the 29th. NDOT is suggesting using 465 and 865 as a detour. Well, a son is pleading for everything to be done to find out how his mother died on vacation.
It's hard enough when you lose your mother. It's hard enough knowing that she's in a foreign country and they are not cooperating with you.
So many people are talking about this. We'll look at this son's efforts to learn how his mother died and the response from the Dominican Republic that's made him even more suspicious.
Plus, the Democratic presidential debate stage is set. South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg will take center stage with some heavy hitters in the field. His response to being selected for day 2.
And we want to take another check of our breaking news this morning. One person was found dead inside this Plainfield apartment after an early morning fire. This was called into the location at North Vine Street around 4:30 this morning. Those crews had the fire under control in about 15 minutes. And now fire and police are both investigating. We don't know yet if the person killed died before the fire or during the fire. That's one of many questions we are asking this morning. Also, how many people were displaced here because of this. We're told at least 3 units were affected. So we do continue to follow this. We've got a crew out there. We'll have more for you this morning.